Welcome to Ackerman Recap. After calling Pickle to flee from Musashi, Motobe confidently held a bottle of wine as he entered the arena. It's time! Motobe opens the bottle of wine and sprays it all over his body as a ritual to celebrate his dream coming true after a long wait. Musashi recalled their previous encounter and praised Tokugawa for his hospitality. However, Tokugawa was unaware of this and stated that today was Pickle's day. At this moment, Master Shibukawa began to clap, and other martial artists followed suit to celebrate this match. Motobe looked towards the audience and thanked them for their respect. Tokugawa said that the decision rested with Musashi. Motobe stared intensely at his opponent saying, "The decision is not yours," and threw a smoke bomb into Musashi's face. The samurai lost his vision for a moment, and seizing the opportunity, Motobe slipped his arm across Musashi's groin, spun around, and took him down to the ground. Despite using his hands to support his head, Musashi still felt disoriented. Next came the Achilles tendon move, with Motobe gripping Musashi's shin and flipping him backwards. The samurai soared like a Superman and attempted to land safely but failed. Musashi sensed that the space to his left eye was distorted and praised these moves for their effectiveness. These techniques were familiar to the swordsman as they were widely used in his era, and he welcomed this next opponent. Motobe opened a case to retrieve a cigarette with a bottle of wine in his hand, walking towards Musashi. Both of them sat down, and Motobe offered the swordsman a cigarette. Musashi took it, sniffed it a few times, and said that they had been poisoned and couldn't be used. This surprised everyone. Motobe aimed to throw the cigarette into the swordsman's eye, but it was caught, and he calmly smoked it. Both of them began to take action, with Motobe being a beat quicker. He used the wine bottle to strike Musashi's face, followed by smashing the box of poisoned cigarettes onto the swordsman's face. Musashi, paralyzed, fell to the ground. Without giving him a chance to regain his composure, Motobe threw a bomb at him. The master of weapons was doing everything possible to try to survive. He successfully took Musashi's katana. Musashi emerged from the smoke. Although Motobe had taken the katana, the swordsman never let go of it, so he threw the katana towards Musashi. The katana was thrown with a high spin, but Musashi caught it as if it were a toy. Next, Motobe throws the sheath of the katana sword, this time with a bomb attached, causing it to explode. Musashi was too careless and was attacked by Motobe at the wound on his face. This attack nearly broke Musashi's molars. Previously, there had been an opponent who used a weapon similar to Motobe's, but he couldn't land a single hit on Musashi, not even once. Motobe continued to use this weapon and wrapped it around Musashi's katana. He began to use force in hopes of getting this sword again. The chain was stretched out, and Musashi's katana remained immovable, with just the strength of Musashi's pinky and thumb equating to all of Motobe's power. The swordsman swung the katana lightly, and the chain snapped. He felt uncomfortable because of the wounds inflicted by Motobe. Before initiating his attack, Musashi asked his opponent how he wanted to be killed. However, Motobe expressed his desire to die due to old age, leaving Musashi surprised and puzzled as to why Motobe was present at this deadly arena in the first place. Motobe stated that he lived to protect himself and those around him. He then pulled out a spear and said that if they were to score sword skills, Musashi's would be 500, while his own was at most 70, and he charged forward. Musashi cutted the spear, thought it was still below 50 points, and he got kicked in the face. Hit by a powerful kick, the legendary swordsman was dazed, followed by a punch from an ironclad glove. Motobe put all his effort into these attacks, and Musashi's mind was spinning as he slumped down. Seeming vulnerable, Motobe approached with a short sword but got slashed, perhaps because Musashi was still a bit disoriented, so the cut wasn't too deep. However, it wasn't just that. Motobe was wearing chainmail, the shirt that Jack had cut as hard as he could but couldn't penetrate, but it still wasn't enough to withstand Musashi's strikes. He could cut through it. He saw all the pieces of armor that Motobe was wearing on his body. Musashi didn't hesitate and directly struck the pieces of armor. All the pieces of armor were interconnected, and Motobe's arm was not completely severed. Next were his two legs. It seemed like Motobe would have to use a wheelchair later. Without stopping, Musashi continued to cut. Baki in the stands couldn't contain his emotions, but Motobe said that if he stopped, he wouldn't be able to protect everyone. Both legs were almost completely severed as Motobe still charged forward and tackled Musashi to the ground. The opportunity had come, and Motobe forcefully slammed his head into the face of the samurai. Motobe realized this was his last chance and used his hand to tighten around Musashi's neck. This was his weapon and his final attack. Because his remaining arm was broken, Motobe bit his own hand to increase the squeezing force. Struggling for breath, the samurai drove himself into Motobe, both legs paralyzed, his right hand immobilized, and his shoulder bone shattered. However, none of these things shook Motobe's resolve. He went on to bite himself hard on the hand and said, "I will protect you, Musashi." The strongest samurai fell. The battle came to an end. The victor was Motobe Izu. Baki was surprised that he was genuinely protected by Motobe. The fighters clapped and congratulated the victory, but deep inside, their emotions were mixed. They were happy because they had finally been protected. But they were also extremely jealous of that glorious victory. After a while, the legendary swordsman also regained his composure and stared at the man who had defeated him. He admitted his defeat, but added that he hadn't used his full strength in the fight. Musashi regarded Motobe as more of a sparring partner than an actual enemy on the battlefield. He had always targeted the armored protection. If he had wanted to, he could have killed Motobe, just as he did with Retsukayo. Motobe knew that Musashi had joined this battle as a practice match, and he wanted a true battle to the death with the swordsman. Musashi stood up and called out to Motobe, then drew his sword, saying, "Thank you, you've already won." The video has come to an end. Please leave your comments in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with the latest videos from me. For now, goodbye and see you again, everyone.